Henny Espinosa with Just Wish Foundation. Today we are joined by Suzanne Camara, whose New York-based nonprofit organization, Hair We Share, gives confidence and joy to people who suffer from permanent hair loss. Thank you so much for joining us on Just Wish Foundation, Suzanne.
Thank you for having me.
Suzanne, so tell us a little bit about your background in the beauty and health industries.
I went to cosmetology while I was in high school. I graduated in 1990, and I started working in local hair salons from the age of 13, sweeping the floors and shampooing. I went to school for massage therapy after that, but I really loved hair, so that was what I stuck with.
What was it about hair that really you were passionate about?
It's actually kind of funny. I always thought of myself as an artist. Like I enjoyed art and I liked art, and I was always kind of a little frustrated with art. Like I wasn't quite good enough of a painter or a drawer or I didn't have a medium that I excelled in, right? But I was working as a hairstylist, and so I was one time worked with a makeup artist on a production that it was a play. We did a Dracula production, and I did the hair and he did the makeup. And I was telling him this, and he said, "Well, what are you talking about? Hair is your medium."
Yeah.
And I thought, "Oh no, that's my job." But it took somebody else to tell me to realize that.
Yeah, yeah. And then the feeling, of course, when you see it on stage, or when in the salon, when the person realizes, oh my God, I have this new look.
Right.
Something amazing to my hair.
And
That
I
gives
never
you a different sense of that makes
Yes.
you more passionate about it.
Yes. So
Wow.
people are my canvas.
For sure, for sure. So tell us how you got into classroom teaching. I understand that you travel, you do a lot of lectures on the impact on a person who
On hair
suffers
loss.
from hair loss. Tell us what you cover and kind of what prodded you to do this.
So what happened when I started working on wigs, I actually had gone to the massage therapy school because I thought I didn't want to do hair anymore. And then I found wigs, and that it renewed me, and I absolutely loved making the connections with the people that I work with. And I realized that I wasn't educated enough in it. And I think, and I just felt like other kids like me that were in the beauty school, I felt like they should have an understanding of it, so that they can be empathetic to clients that they come across, and help them. But at the same time, was working in retail wigs. So at the same time, it was also a little bit for business. I would get some referrals out of it. So there's many reasons, and I found that I really just enjoy telling the story of what I do, and telling the stories of the people that I help, because it's inspirational.
So you know how they would describe hair as kind of a person's crowning glory, right? Like
Mhm.
how does it impact a person to lose that? Especially when it's for what reasons, right? Mostly medical
Yeah,
reasons, trauma as well. So tell us about that, Suzanne.
yeah. So I service all different kinds of people, from chemotherapy to alopecia to burn victims and accident victims. And when somebody loses their hair, they lose a piece of their identity. And the advice that they get from most people, their loved ones, because you don't want to see your loved one hurting, is they're always told, "Oh, it's only hair." It's more important that you're okay, that you're healthy. But you look in a mirror every day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see yourself as the way you look, is the way you feel you should look
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
yourself, um, people come very withdrawn. Um, I've heard of scenarios where people with alopecia will actually save the hairs that fall out of their head
Mm.
in a pile, and they will count them,
Wow.
lay them out on a table and count, because they say you lose 100 hairs a day. So
Mm.
they want to see if they lost 300 or 400 or
Yeah.
500. And can you imagine sitting there counting hairs
Yeah.
every day?
That must be heartbreaking. Yeah.
It's it's very hard to tell somebody that it's okay, you're fine, you look
Yeah.
fine, because it's a problem that they're going through.
We're not in their shoes. Yeah, you're right.
Not
Yeah.
in their shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's easy for people to be like, you're right. It's just hair. At least
Yeah,
you're still alive, you're healthy otherwise,
right. And
but
you want to do that
yeah.
you always want to do that for people. It's in your intuition to make people feel better about the situation they're going through, but hair loss is very unique.
Mm.
The feeling is very much alone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something that they're going through by themselves
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
alone. And I've also found that there's no difference between male and female. It
Mm.
is equally as hard for a male to lose the hair as a female.
Yeah.
I actually was speaking in a classroom it was an entrepreneur club. The school called and they wanted to hear from the founder of a not-for-profit. And the room was all boys. And in my PowerPoint presentation, I had only photos of girls.
Mm.
And one of the boys challenged that. And he challenged me, why were there only photos of girls and will
Girls.
I
Yeah.
have boys? And after him drilling me with questions,
Mm-hmm.
he then explained to me that he had brain cancer
Mm.
when it was, all his hair had grown back. And he and I sat and talked for some time, and he had told me that exactly what I just told you. Everybody told him, oh, it's only hair, you have your health. But he was a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it was devastating to him. His
Yeah.
identity was lost.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point because we just think that it's just women women with
Yeah.
long hair, that feel that they've lost so much. But you're right, it's everybody's
Hmm.
affected by it, and
Yeah. And with boys, it's
regardless of
kind of
gender. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. And with boys, it's kind of a double-edged sword because, boys, I mean, I think times are changing now, but maybe when I was younger, boys were mostly told, don't cry, suck it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So boys are supposed to suck it up and not cry,
Yeah. Hmm.
but still feeling the same internally as anybody
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. Yeah. So what finally prodded you to take this a step further? This has become, obviously, at first it was your career, and then you got into more advocacy stuff, right?
Mhm.
What finally prodded you to take this a step further and actually co-found the organization Hair We Share?
There's a little bit of a joke behind that. Um, excuse me. I started doing wigs in 1994. In 2013, I'm employed in a small wig design company. And in 2013, I was alone in the office and my boss was away. And I had looked into starting a not-for-profit years before, but it seemed like a dead-end road. Everybody told me that I needed $1 million. Unless I had $1 million, there was no way I could make it successful at all. And I believed that. And so in 2013, it was October. My boss was on vacation. I was by myself in the office, and a woman called. Her name was Dwynell, and her daughter's name was Brooke. Brooke was 13 years old. They had watched a 2020 episode that I had designed the wig on the actress who had alopecia.
Hmm.
The episode was about her alopecia.
It seems than Hollywood, where good hair is a must. So for an aspiring actress like Georgia Van Kullenberg, her success has a particularly challenging hurdle. She is bald.
If I wasn't in the industry, I wouldn't have to care so much. I think it's very ironic because I used to always say, you know, the hair is one thing I like. And now it's like, really? That was smart. Take it away, and now I have to look at the rest of me. Now this wig, I mean, this is my natural color. That's
Like 5 million others in this country, Georgia suffers from alopecia, an autoimmune disease that causes sudden and often unpredictable hair loss.
She was spending most of her days in her bedroom with the lights turned off. She was covering up mirrors around the house, and she was in a very dark place. And so after speaking to her for some time, I felt an immediate connection to this woman. And she was very excited to speak to me, the woman who designed the wig that they saw in 2020. And I thought, you know, well, not that big of a deal, but but thank you. So her daughter's face lit up and she said, "Mom, please, I'll do anything. Please get me that wig." And so I explained to her that, you know, I mean, I'm in a high-end area. That wig would retail around $3,600. I didn't give her the price right away because I was afraid to. I knew while I was talking to her that she was going to have sticker shock from the price. So I said to her, "My boss is on vacation. I want to make this wig for your daughter. There are aspects of the wig that I can make it a little less expensive than what it costs, but it still is quite costly. I can make payment plans with you. You can pay as much or as little as you can for a down payment, and then make weekly or monthly or however you need to do it to get it paid and make the wig." And so she said, "Okay, I'm going to talk to my husband. I'm going to do that." And I got off the phone with her. And the next morning, I got a notification on Facebook from the actress that she had used my name in a post. She had, you know, tagged me. And she was at a wig shop in LA. And the little girl, her name is Brooke, commented, "Do they have pretty wigs?" And the actress wrote, "Not as pretty as Suzanne." And my heart sunk. I said to myself, the mom already told the daughter that she can't afford it. The kid is now searching for an alternative. I just knew that was what happened. So I went in my caller ID and I called up the mom and I said, "I'm going to make you a proposal. And I don't want you to answer me now. I want you to talk to your daughter. I want you to talk to your husband. And I want you to think about it thoroughly before we make the next step. I would like to take a photo of Brooke, and I would like to put it on Facebook and ask people to send us their hair.
Wow.
And that is going to cut the cost of the wig in half."
Wow.
And about an hour later, Brooke called back. And this little tiny voice on the phone said, "My name is Brooke, and if this is going to help other people, then I want to do this." And so we did that on a Friday. We put Brooke's photo up on Facebook, and it got shared over I think 24 hours, something 1,000 times. The following, I worked Tuesday through Saturday. My boss was away the following whole next week, and I had to figure this out before he returned. So the following Tuesday, I walked into my office and the mailman came in with 42 packages of hair.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I
You
was
touched so many people.
It was amazing.
Wow.
And yeah.
Did you expect that, Suzanne, when you posted that?
I did, and I couldn't believe it. And I, you know, but still, I still had to pay to have the wig made. It wasn't, you know, it's not free at that point. It only cuts the cost. But I figured, okay, I'm going to make this happen. And so I was able to actually almost like by ethnicity, pick the perfect hair for Brooke. And match it to her perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was showing all my clients this, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. And they started peeling cash off at me. Here's $100, here's $200,
Wow.
pay for the wig, get the wig made.
Yeah.
And and so that's how it started. So excuse me. My boss came back from vacation. At the time, Wi-Fi wasn't wildly free. He was on a cruise, so he had no connection to what I was doing, and so he didn't see it until he returned. And he thought, he said, "What are you doing? What did you do? We can't do this. We need to make a living. We can't do things for free. We can't." And I said, "No, but what I did was I reached out to everybody and anybody I possibly could.
Yeah.
I got lawyers, I got graphic artists, I got
Wow.
accountants, I got everybody just set up to make it happen."
Yeah.
And we became 501c3.
Wow. And this is a community
Mm-hmm.
behind you. So it's not
Yeah.
just you thinking about this. This is the community had your back from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
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 How has it impacted so many people through the years? Give us an idea of how big of an impact it has had in the community.
I mean, it's something that I kind of never expected. That the answer to that. Every wig that we create, we're almost at 4,000 right now.
Wow.
And every single one that we create is its own little micro community, I feel like, because it takes about at least a minimum of 5 people's hair to make one wig.
Wow.
Right? And so all of those 5 people that cut their hair, they're helping one person. So I view it as a little micro community.
Yeah.
One person, helping one person.
Yeah.
And not only does it impact the recipients, I think sometimes maybe even more than the recipients, it
The
impacts the
donors. Yeah.
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 And that's our ponytail tracking program. That's when somebody makes the monetary donation that funds the expense of the manufacturing of their portion of the wig, their hair portion. We then send them a photo of the wig.
Wow.
And from time to time, we can send them a photo of the recipient.
Wow.
And when that happens, it's pure magic. It
Wow.
just, yeah. And I don't know, it just kind of grew into that. I think it started with Brooke because I was able to, when I chose the people's hair that I use, I was able to say, hey, I chose this one and that one and that one. And so those people knew that they
Yeah.
were the ones that were in that wig.
Yeah.
And they were the start of that. And what it did for Brooke, when she saw all the sharing and she saw all of the people, if they didn't have anything to give, they had compliments for her.
Yeah.
And inspiration for her.
Yeah.
And telling her that she's beautiful. And I don't think, she never had so many people coming at her like that and making her feel beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And loved.
Yeah.
And cared for.
Yeah.
And so, just hair is a lot more.
Oh, it's not just hair anymore.
Yeah.
It never was just hair. So,
right.
How do you so if people want to donate, Suzanne, do they come to you guys? You can do this anywhere.
Yes.
Wherever you are, correct?
Yeah, I actually don't take hair donations personally, only because it's a lot of, it's time consuming, and I don't have the space or the time for it. We do send them to salons. There's instructions on our website.
Mm-hmm.
If the salon isn't aware of us, they can, just show them the instructions on our website.
And then they can send in the hair to you guys as it is specified in the list of requirements. Mm-hmm. How do you apply for a wig?
It's just a simple application on the website. We do service children and adults, and we are the only organization that services any type of hair loss.
Mm.
So, like I said before, accidents, burns. We've had domestic violence. We had a child who was mauled by a dog. And it's a simple application. There's requirements are a doctor's prescription. Under 18 years old, that's all we require. And over 18 years old, it's based on if the need of financial assistance.
Wow.
I
So
would
it's
love
really
to
case
come-
to case, kind of case to case basis, right?
It's case to case
Yeah.
on adults. I would love to lift that eventually, but that's just what we're able to afford at this point.
Great, great. Okay, and for you, this has become half of your life that you have taken kind of full time now, right?
I still service my clients.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
still do kind of both your career and then of course your advocacy is equally important
Yeah.
in this time in your life. So what kind of fulfillment do you get, Suzanne, from when you look back to how it started and when you look forward to what you can still do, knowing what kind of impact you've already had in the community? What kind of fulfillment do you get?
It's kind of indescribable. I wanted it to be what it is, and I worked hard for it to be what it is. So I feel like it's not a surprise because it was a very long battle to get there.
Mhm.
To the point where in the beginning I felt like I was gonna throw the towel in many times.
Mhm.
In the very beginning I was faced with two right away terminally ill children who did pass.
Mhm.
And they put me that situation put me in a bad frame of mind, in a
Mhm.
bad, I call it a funk. I was like in a 6-month funk after each passing of each child. So it was very hard for me to continue thinking, I'm not saving lives,
Mhm.
like what is it worth? What
Mhm.
am I doing? Is this worth it?
Mhm.
I'm not saving lives.
Mhm.
But after a lot of thinking about it and a lot of, I guess, soul searching, I
Mhm.
can call, I realized that yes, I'm not saving lives, but what if I don't do this? It's what I do. That's what I do for a living. That's what I've done. That's what I am.
Mhm.
So by doing it and taking the money out of it between myself and the recipient, um it's it's beyond words rewarding.
Yeah.
Like when you have a parents come in with a 12-year-old who is facing a terminal illness,
Mhm.
and they want their child to feel good and look like themselves, and then you have to take their credit card and run $3,600 for them to do that. It's not fair on so many levels.
Mhm.
I mean, and then even when you have a healthy kid, a pair of sneakers are expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kid with alopecia who's going to go through a wig every year at $3,600, and you're still looking at, whatever dance classes
Yeah.
or sporting events or graduations and, all the other all the other events that life comes with for a child. It's not fair that, that expense.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
So I feel extremely grateful that I can provide the service, and that thank you to, the community that's come out to help and
Yeah.
support, to be able to do what I love at no charge.
Yeah.
It's a dream.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a dream fulfilled.
It's a
Let's put
dream.
it that way. Yeah. And I think the name Hair We Share is so fitting because it's literally the community that's
Yes.
sharing this gift for
Thank
people who need it. And and your story too, it touches people and moves people to do their part. And so for us, we want to do our part at Just Wish Foundation. Mr. Jack was so inspired by our founder, is so inspired by what you do. So, and I'm inspired by what you do, and we want to make a monetary donation to Hair We Share. And we hope that you keep doing what you do, because your passion, it has turned into this life mission, and you know, giving joy to so many people that need it most. It's just so admirable, Suzanne. So we wish you all the best, and more power certainly to your organization.
Thank you so much, and I'm humbled by what you do.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Suzanne.
Just a
Thank
shot
you.
away from the corner where I used to play with my friends as a kid. I saw a man with a pulled up collar playing